Good evening. It's Wednesday evening and it's 7 o'clock Central Time, and that's time for Keto Confab. I'm your hostess, Elizabeth Hanson, along with my husband, Dr. Scott Hanson. And this is our 1 year anniversary. Actually, it was last month, last week, the 26th, we hit our 1 year. Yeah, woo, woo. We hit our 1 year anniversary of doing Keto Confab. And I went to the YouTube channel where I post all of our recordings. And I found that Keto Confab has put up 52 recordings. Most of them are meetings. There's a few interviews, and I realized, oh shoot, there were some other people I wanted to interview and never got around to it. So I need to do that sometime when I have extra time. And I looked at our views because I don't really advertise this anywhere but on the Keto Confab Facebook page and Dr. Boz's page. But we have videos that have gotten as many as 177 views. And some have gotten 72 and others 33 and 28 and 20. There are a number that have only gotten 5 views or something or another, but for videos that I don't really advertise much, they're out there and people are viewing them, and hopefully they're getting something from them. We're a group of people wanting to live the keto lifestyle, specifically according to the teachings of Dr. Annette Bosworth. We don't sell anything here. We're not sponsored by anyone. This is a support group for us and for anyone that comes along. And in our group right now, we are working through the 12 myths in the beginning of this book by Dr. Philip Oveda, who is a thoracic cardiology surgeon. And his book is called Stay Off My Operating Table. And so at the beginning of the meeting, I read an excerpt from the book. This week is myth number 5. And if you have the book, it's on page 24 and 25. And myth number 5 is low carb diets are bad for your heart. Remember Atkins? There's a commonly repeated story that Dr. Atkins, the creator of the low carb, high fat Atkins diet, died from heart disease. Did I read this last week? Are we really on number 6?
Yeah, you read it last week. Yep.
Oh, why didn't you stop me? Okay, sorry, error there.
Yeah, once you got to the point where there's a story that he died of a heart attack, then yeah, I realized.
Okay, so sorry, we're actually on myth 26, which is on page 25 and 26. So myth 6 is high cholesterol causes heart disease. You've probably heard that the higher your LDL, often called the bad cholesterol, the higher your risk of heart disease. But about half the patients I operate on for coronary heart disease have a low or normal LDL. Some are on medications, some are not. There is data to suggest that half the people with ideal cholesterol levels still have a risk for developing heart problems. Sure, cholesterol plays a part in heart disease, but it is not the single cause we've been led to believe. Based on my experience, HDL and triglycerides are more predictive of heart disease than the LDL. We only focus on LDL because that's the cholesterol physicians can easily manipulate with medications. So they can't manipulate the others. They can't manipulate triglycerides or HDL, but they can LDL. In fact, research indicates that in the setting of good metabolic health, the higher the HDL, the longer you can expect to live. When I teach my patients about cholesterol, they are shocked. If you're ready to be shocked too, here's how it actually works. Once you have poor metabolic health, your blood vessels become inflamed. The blood then sends cholesterol as a repair mechanism to try and fix that inflammation. Imagine repairing an old crumbling wall with some spackling. Cholesterol is the spackle your body smears on your blood vessels to keep them intact. And if the wall keeps getting damaged, you keep piling on the spackle. Eventually, you start to block up the blood vessels. But the problem isn't the cholesterol, it's the inflamed blood vessels and the damage being done that necessitates the cholesterol. This is why the concept of cholesterol as the main problem never sat well with me. The assumption that cholesterol is basically a poison your body produces that kills you is not right. In fact, it's only trying to fix the other issue created by the foods you are eating. So the answer is obviously not to attack the spackling on the wall, but to stop damaging your walls in the first place. Cholesterol isn't the cause of heart disease. Poor metabolic health is. I think if I read that to my brother and his wife, they would possibly have a coronary, because they really buy in to the LDL cholesterol as being bad, and that you can actually have too high of an HDL cholesterol, as do a lot of Americans. And once I realized these things about cholesterol and everything, I felt much better about my cholesterol numbers. They weren't horrid, you know. My triglycerides have always been good. My HDL has always been good, but it's been my LDL that's been too high. But it hasn't been massive high, you know, but it's been too high. But now it's in good shape. Yay. So
But
anyway,
the way I remember it though is that they've said that the HDL is the good cholesterol and the LDL is the bad cholesterol.
I know, but my LDL was too high, which is the bad cholesterol. My HDL,
Okay, all right, just checking. Yep.
yeah, my HDL was usually within normal range or a little high. And they would tell me, oh, we don't like to see the HDL that high. And, you know, I used to worry about it, but, you know, now that I've learned through Dr. Boz and other people, that isn't the case. The HDL can be higher than what they think is normal, and it be okay. And that the LDL isn't the worst thing. It's the inflammation behind it all. So that's our reading. And so what we like to do with our group is we like to ask what went well this week, and what you'd like to change, and what you're grateful for. So what went well this week is I actually got all the sleep I was supposed to. Now, maybe I didn't go to bed as early as I should, but I actually got my 7.5 hours a night. So that's good, because there have been weeks I don't. And what would I like to change? I would like things to be more consistent in my life. You know, if I could have a better schedule for things, I'd be happy, and I think things would go better. And what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for it being November and we don't have snow on the ground. Because a lot of times the 1st of October, we'll get our first snow, and it'll melt off, and then we'll get more, and then it'll melt off, and then it stays. And by November 1st, we're white everywhere. And so here we are, November 2nd, no snow yet, but that's probably going to change next week. But that's
Have you seen snow?
we had one day of some flurries. It just never stacked, you know, on the roadways, because the roadways collect so much heat from the sun. It never stuck. On the grass, it stayed around for a couple hours. It was pretty, but you know.
My niece lives in Marquette, Michigan, which of course is way up north on Lake Superior.
Mhm.
And I know she's seen snow, but I'm not really sure how much. I think it was more than flurries though.
Yeah. Colorado had snow, but I don't think it stayed for more than a day or two. And
Your time is coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
We all know that.
We live in North Dakota. What, you know, we know what to
It is.
expect. You know, Okay, Scott. What went well? What do you want to change? And what are
Yeah.
you grateful for?
Well, I think my diet in general went well this week. But they've been making popcorn at the college lately, and so I've had popcorn a couple of days. So the thing I'd like to change is not having popcorn. And but in general it went well, and I checked my ketones this week, and I'm still producing ketones, so that's good. And well, I'm thankful for thankful for my wife, my lovely wife, who's wonderful in every way. And
Oh yeah, that's
no,
because she's listening.
I'm thankful that that she's able to research these things and find all of this stuff, and actually to she's basically a walking encyclopedia for all sorts of different things, and she's got such a good memory of things. When I taught anatomy and physiology and general biology for years, but I don't remember. I just think that my memory of that stuff is of the stuff that I taught for years is not as good as her memory of stuff that she's studied through and worked out, and with all sorts of things. Autism and food allergies and constitutional diet, and a lot of different things that we're going through, and not just keto. But thankful for my job as well, and and thankful for where we live. And so those are the three. Yeah, I think it's three things we need to talk about, right? What we like to change and what we're thankful for, right? Is it three
Yeah.
things, or is it a fourth thing?
Mhm. Yep, 3. You got it. And over to Tammy.
Of course, I've been thinking. So one of the things that went right is I've gotten into the habit of coming straight home from work, and it gets dark now about 6 o'clock. And I make sure I take the dog for a walk every day before 6 o'clock. So that's really good. Thing that's going to be a problem though is next week with the time change. Sometimes, like today, I didn't even leave work until 5 and got home 20 minutes later. I still had time to walk the dog, but I'm concerned about next week. If I work till 5, I'm not going to be able to walk the dog. I can walk the dog probably on the street, but you can hear the dog. But not in we go in some big fields and I drop the leash and let him run around and chase a ball and stuff. And we won't be able to do that because it'll be too dark, but we will be able to maybe do a little bit in the room. So but I have been doing walking with maybe more than, stop it.
Time to do some doggy discipline.
Yes.
Oh, Melody's coming in.
Oh, good.
I opened the door, you went outside, so we'll see how long he stays. Something to do better. It's those dreaded, Scott been having popcorn. It's the dreaded peanuts for me. I know peanuts are keto, and I know that you can have a limited amount of them, but I just go like this, and I buy a 12-ounce jar, a little, my favorite is these spicy peanuts I got. They're really spicy. And they're just my favorite. I just want that flavor in my mouth because they're spicy. If I could get that spicy flavor someplace else, I probably would. But oh my gosh, something I need to do better is definitely, I don't think that it is a good goal for me to actually not have any peanuts because I'm just going to break that. But my goal is to have a reasonable amount. I don't have a food scale at work, and that's usually where I eat them. Maybe I can bring a food scale, but to eat a reasonable amount, like 1 or 2 ounces, which would be a reasonable amount, not keep the jar next to me and just eat. And I don't know how much I'm eating. So, but I can tell you, my 12-ounce jar my little 12-ounce container doesn't really last that many days. So I'm afraid I'm eating 3 and 4 ounces at a time. So I just
So-
need to do better weighing and measuring.
What if you brought the jar home, divided it out into how much you want to eat in a day, put it in little Ziplocs, and just take one Ziploc to work with you?
I could possibly do that. Yes, that's a good idea. The container I have at work right now doesn't have a whole lot in it, so that's good for one day. But I have 2 more jars here, so that I'll try that.
Yeah.
And do that, because I think, and I have done that before. I just got out of the habit and forgot about it. So thank you for reminding me. And we'll see how this works. If I put like an ounce probably isn't enough, but 1.5 ounces, and that's not all that many carbs. It's like 6 or 7. So it's certainly reasonable to have that on a keto diet, but not as much as I've been doing. I'm going overboard. And the
Yeah.
thing I need to do better is Scott mentioned measuring his ketones, and I haven't measured my blood in a month or more. So I think that's a good measurement, because, that would show me that my peanuts probably are a little bit too much if I end up eating, too many carbs. And so I think I'll try testing. I used to test every morning when I got up, and I just kind of got out of that habit. So I think that would be a good incentive to see where I'm at.
That's good. And what are you grateful for?
I don't know. There's the same thing of going for a walk every day. I'm grateful for. I'm grateful I'm busy at work, because when I started this job, it was not a full-time job. I was so stinking bored. I just did this and did that, and I just made busy work and blah, blah, blah. So now I'm super busy. And when I'm super busy, I don't have time to eat those peanuts. I ate them for a little bit this morning. And then I got into a meeting at lunchtime, and I was there until 5 o'clock. I was not sitting at my desk, and I was not eating peanuts. I did do too many in the morning, but the busier I am at work, the less I'm sitting there munching. And I know that's just the way it is. So now I'm super busy, maybe busier than I need to be, because I come home and get on my other screen and do work that I didn't do at work.
Mhm.
And it's probably is going to be that way, because I'm an accountant, and we have an audit in January, and we have physical inventory in December. And there's a lot of things coming up.
Mhm. So welcome back, Melody. You've been gone for a long time. And we are here. Hello, we can hear you.
Yeah, well, I have a lot to say, so I figured that I'd just go ahead and.
Oh, fabulous. We're happy to have you back, and we can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Well,
You unfortunately missed me reading myth number 6 from the book we're working on right now, about how high cholesterol doesn't cause heart disease. But oh well. And Scott and I and Tammy have done our what we did good this week, what went really well this week, and what we want to improve, and what we're grateful for. So do you think you can give us those, and then we'll see what you want to talk about?
okay, well, it probably is kind of incorporated in what I want to talk about.
Okay.
So the last couple of weeks I've been doing live-in care.
Mhm.
And so I'm really grateful for that, because can always use that money.
Mhm.
And however, when I do that, she does not have a stove. And so we kind of rely on the microwave and whatever is from the refrigerator.
Mhm.
And so my eating habits really kind of go to pot. She is a late person. And she is borderline diabetic. And so I think I've been a good influence on her doing keto, because now she's doing some keto stuff too. However, she's doing keto junk food, which of course I found. And so we have keto peanut butter cups at 9 o'clock at night, which is a no-no for me, because then my sugars are spiked in the mornings. However, she doesn't seem to, well, she's 84 years old, so she can do whatever the heck she wants to. But so that's what I need to do better in the next couple of weeks while I'm not working as much with her. And then I have another couple of weeks with her. It's not going to be live-in, but it's going to be 8-hour days, like right from 10 to 7. So really, again, really kind of bad times because
Mhm.
she's a bad influence on me with the snacks because I'm very easy. Sure, yeah, I'll have a snack with you. So that's I'm also very, very grateful for a dog that is, even though she's kind of grumbly and growly, she is not aggressive. So very grateful for her. And what was the other thing?
No, you got the 3. You got the
Okay.
3. So,
Okay, so that's where I've been the last couple of weeks because I typically don't have internet, but they did give me the password. However, because it's right at her dinner time, there's no way that I can
yeah,
join in. So
because you're 6 o'clock Mountain Time, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I opened the meeting, Melody, by saying that Keto Confab's now been here for a year, and
Oh, wow.
we have 52 videos up, and some of them have gotten 170 views, and others 70, and some 33, and some 28, and some 5, and so that's really great. And we're going for another year, and I do want to make some improvements. Like we're trying to get some more general involvement by getting people to tell us the what went great and what they can improve and what they're grateful for. And we're also trying to present something each week from a book, working from a book and everything. And so we're trying to expand. And we've also decided that if we're going to talk about recipes or particular foods, we'll leave that to the end because some people don't want to hear food talk. And that way they can do the rest of the program and leave once we start talking about, oh, have you tried this recipe or this keto chow, something or another? Because it is very tempting to try and use some of the ready-made keto things, but boy, that can get you into trouble real easy.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. She's doing the keto bread, and which it's not bad for her, but it's 11 carbs. And so, for me, just a little small slice of bread is half my carbs.
Yeah.
So, so I need to get back to making food and getting back to the more healthier things rather than the keto junk food. But that's what I ate before was junk food. So now I found the keto junk food. So here we go again. So I did not lose anything this last month.
Okay. Well, there are non-scale wins, and for me, the month of November is my anniversary month with finding Dr. Boz and starting my path towards keto. And I just had some blood work done. And when I started keto, my thyroid was just crazy. It was at 9.25. Normal goes up to 3.25. And so my TSH was up to 9.25. But doing keto these 2 years, it has been in the normal range for the last 6 months.
Yay!
And doing very well. And Tammy, I've just remembered I forgot to send you the information about that iodine. Just a second. Put that right in the center of my computer. I do take an iodine supplement, Melody, for my thyroid. So with the keto and the iodine, my thyroid is finally regulating itself. And without medication and stuff. So Tammy, I'll send you that after this here. And also my cholesterol is finally in the normal range. Now, Dr. Boz in her book says that if you are borderline diabetic and very high insulin resistant and been eating a lot of carbs and stuff, that it's going to take longer for your cholesterol to come into the normal range. 6 months after I really started keto, my cholesterol got lower. It was lower because it was 300 before I started. Then it got down to 280, and then it dropped to 239. And now, it's at 200. And there was no talk of statin drugs this time, which was wonderful because every time I've gone in the last 2 years, they've crabbed at me about statin drugs. And, I'm like, look, I'm bringing my cholesterol down. It just takes time. And I know that I was probably eating 400 or more carbs a day before I started Dr. Boz. And I took the months of November and December to start bringing myself down to where I then went keto in January. And I'm happy about that slow start so that I didn't, go into like keto flu or something like that. But because I did a slow start, it took longer for my cholesterol to come down. Now, the things I'm facing, you have challenges, Melody. Tammy's got challenges. Scott, he's just always a challenge. My challenges right now is managing pain because I injured my back and I can't walk my dog like I like to. And walking the dog helps keep my blood sugar down. My blood sugar is not diabetic or anything. My A1C when it was tested is 5.1 or something or another. It's a little up from what it was when I was able to be walking the dog. It was 4.7 when I was able to walk the dog. But now that I'm not walking the dog, my blood sugar has come up. And I'm not sleeping as well because of pain. The pain will wake me during the night. So I'm working on those with a physical therapist and a massage therapist and everything so that I can, so I haven't lost any weight either, Melody. But I'm maintaining, at least I'm not porking up, I lost a total of 110 pounds in my first year on keto. I have unfortunately gained back 30 of those since my back injury. But I'm glad I've kept it at 30. I mean, I could have totally given up on keto and said, oh, screw it, but I'm glad I haven't. And next week when we meet, I'm going to renew my why as to why I've chosen to stay keto, even though it's 2 years and it's not perfect. I haven't gotten down to the 180 that I want to be. But, until I can figure out, this pain and be able to exercise again, I don't know that I'm going to be able to lose any more. But I'm really excited, Melody, that you've been able to have a positive influence with the lady that you've been caring for. And I think with planning, you could have even more of a positive influence. But I do have some questions for you. Now, she does not have a stove. She has a microwave. But does she have a refrigerator?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything that's refrigerated or microwaved is acceptable. However, if I can get something made ahead of time and keep it to microwave, then that's fine. The problem is I did a 10-day stretch. And so to make enough food for 10 days, I have to put it in the freezer, and she doesn't have freezer space because her kids use the freezer also. And so there's not a whole lot of freezer space. They have a lot. They've already got the freezer stuffed for her. And so it's just, I just have to figure it out a little bit better.
So, she lives alone or her kids live with her?
No, she lives in a really nice little like studio apartment in the ground level of her kids' house, who
Oh, okay.
also lives at a ground level because they're on a hill. However, when they go away, then I do live in
Oh,
with
okay.
her.
I see. So they don't cook for her.
Not really.
Okay.
It's they both work a lot, and so basically it's a lot of just, frozen foods,
Okay.
a lot of frozen meals. Yeah, they will share, they if they're cooking upstairs, then they will bring her stuff, but mostly it's just frozen foods. So I try to get some vegetables, because vegetables I can do in the microwave. She's not a real big vegetable. She does like broccoli, so that's a good thing, but she's not real big on vegetables. But she's very, very cute, because she thinks that if she has fruit, that's going to be good.
Well,
But
a
it
lot
pops
of
her sugars up.
yeah, a lot of people, believe fruit is good for you. And I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going to choose between a chocolate cake and fruit, pick
Yeah.
the fruit,
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's
but
it's yeah, it's really cute, because she has a nurse that comes in 3 times a week, and the nurse just really gets on her case. And but the nurse doesn't believe they all know that I'm on keto. They have watched me lose this weight. They're impressed by it. So so that's really nice. They encourage me. But the nurse does, and the nurse and the daughter-in-law both have been on Weight Watchers or something like that. They haven't done keto, but they've done, some type of dieting. And so the nurse had lost, I think she said like 130 pounds or something. She was quite heavy also, but now she's not. And so she doesn't like the keto diet, because she says any diet that excludes foods, she doesn't feel is healthy. But that's the way a lot of people think. And I think that, if a diet excludes my sugars, then yeah, that's not a good diet. But the reality is, yes, it is. So I think sometimes you have to exclude some foods. So these high
well,
carb things.
I really wish that keto would include, chocolate cake with fudge frosting, but it doesn't. So,
Hey,
okay.
well, take that dark chocolate. That dark chocolate. I have found that if I have a piece of dark chocolate, regular dark chocolate, my sugars are lower in the morning than if I'm having the keto with the erythritol or stevia. So erythritol and stevia are popping my sugars up.
Yeah, I found that too. I found that the sugar substitutes typically, bump my sugars
Mhm,
up. And
mhm,
so I don't typically use any of the substitutes. And I have found a dark chocolate. I showed you guys on one video that I went through all the different dark chocolates. And I
mhm,
have
mhm.
found one. I keep some here. And I find that I don't eat the whole bar. Now,
Right.
if it's a Hershey's milk chocolate bar, I'll eat the whole thing and maybe
Mm-mm.
2 of them. That's how addicted I am to milk chocolate and real, sugary
Yeah.
things. But these ones that don't have a ton of sugar and are the dark chocolate, I can have a square and be happy about it. Yes, I've had my little bit of
Yeah.
chocolate,
I found the one that I found is the Giardelli,
Mhm.
um, with the high cocoa, or
Yeah.
cocoa cake, whatever,
Yeah.
however you say that, dark chocolate. That's the one. If I have a little piece of that, even if I have it in the evening, my sugars don't go up like if I have the keto um, chocolate. So I'm like, oh, well, then let's just eat the regulars. I mean, I'm trying not to eat too much of it, of course, but
Yeah. So this nurse that also works with this patient of yours, um, would she be willing to read your book of Dr. Boz, any way.
Yeah, no, no, she's one of these, it's not just nurses, her personality is, that not necessarily that she's right and she has to be right, but she knows, and that's her focus. It's like that, this is the way that it is. So
Mhm.
that's kind of her, yeah, because I talked to her a little bit about it, and she just kind of poo-pooed everything. So like, yeah, okay. That's okay. To each his own. She had what worked for her, and this is working for me. So
Mhm.
it's all right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I know when you were here last, before you went on this 2-week thing, we talked about boiled eggs. Did you boil some up and take them with you?
I did. Yeah. Again, but boiled eggs are one of those things that they don't last real long in the refrigerator. It doesn't seem like for me. They get kind of gross.
Um,
So I took
Did you peel them? Did you
4 or
peel them
5.
before you took them?
I did peel them before I took
Okay,
them.
leave
because
them
I
in the
peel,
shell. Leave them
yeah,
in the
I
shell.
peel my eggs when they're still hot from the boil.
Yeah, no.
Because it's so much easier to peel them. So I always peel like right away.
It makes them easier to peel even when they're cold and been sitting in the fridge for a week. If you put like a tablespoon of oil into the water when you're boiling them and a little bit of salt,
Oh,
whatever oil you want to use, like a
uh-huh.
tablespoon into the boiling water, and then you can leave them in the shell and they'll still peel very
Oh,
nicely. The other thing I've
I'll try that.
learned, the other thing I've learned is if you put them the pointy part down in the water and try and stack them all pointy part down,
Mhm.
then the yolk and the white go to the bottom and it leaves an air pocket along the wider part of the egg.
Right.
And that
Yeah.
makes it easier to start the peel.
Right. Yeah.
So I end up stacking my eggs. I usually do like
I do
24
too.
or 36
Yeah.
eggs at once. And I have my daughter help me by
Mhm.
holding the eggs so I can get them all point down
Mm.
in the water. And
Mhm.
it just makes the peel much easier. You put the oil, a little bit of salt, and you put them point down. It makes the peel easier. And then
Yeah.
they're not gross when you leave them in the fridge.
Okay.
Because-
I'll try that with the oil and the
Yeah.
salt too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see how you like it.
Yeah.
The thing is the when they're hot, the pores of the shell open up and take a little of the oil in and grease the inside between the shell and the cooked yolk. I mean cooked white. And so when you peel the shell off, there's a little membrane, and that
Mhm.
membrane slips off easier
Mhm. Mhm.
because you
Yeah, that's why I do it hot, because I get that air pocket to get it started, and then you just flip your finger around underneath the membrane, and it's very easy that way. So, but I'll try it with the oil and the salt and see,
Yeah.
and then put it in the fridge and see if it
leaving the
works.
shell on the keeps them from becoming spongy and smooshy.
Yeah, that's what I don't like. Yeah.
Yeah, because once they cool, they close up the pores and it seals the egg again. And I've left eggs up to a week and the texture
Oh.
is still good. They're still peelable
Uh-huh.
and
Okay.
stuff. Yeah,
I'll try.
I've become a boiled egg aficionado.
When I buy hard-boiled eggs in the store, because you can just buy them at Kroger's or whatever, the expiration date on them is like way out there. They're not,
Yeah.
it's not next week. It's like 2 months
Mhm.
from now. I
Are
guess,
those peeled, Tammy?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
yeah, and I think maybe, if you open the package, maybe they're not gonna stay that long, but you can buy them and just keep them in the refrigerator for, a period of time before you even open them.
Yeah.
But they're way out there.
Yeah, I've never looked for them like in Walmart or Kroger's or Safeway or whatever, boiled, because I do them all at home. But when I am driving around and, going on a trip, I love it that most convenient gas station stores now have boiled eggs, 2 of them in a package. That's my go-to. The other thing I like right now at convenience stores at gas stations is they have pickles in a package, and it's just salt and dill and vinegar. And I mean, that's my go-to. If I'm terribly hungry and I'm at a gas station, I look for those things. The other thing I'll look for is cheese and salami, because a lot of times they have hard salami with cheese in what they call a cheese sandwich. And that works for me because, the pizza and all of those breaded deep fried things aren't going to work. They aren't necessarily keto. And but the pickles, the eggs, the salami sandwiches, those I do. But it's so hard seeing all the donuts and cupcakes and of course the Pop-Tarts and cookies and chocolate and stuff, but I'm doing pretty good. Luckily I haven't traveled much lately, but I'm doing pretty good avoiding those things. So Melody, when you go on your, let's say you're doing a 5-day live-in, do you take fresh vegetables that you can put in the fridge and then cut up and microwave them, or what?
I usually make soup because that seems to be the easiest thing for me to do.
Mhm,
And so I'll make soup and then I put it in containers
mhm.
to take.
Okay.
And she likes the soup that I make too. So, I think I just need to. Sometimes I just don't have enough time prior because I have to, like when I was on the 10-day thing, I had to make sure that I had all my laundry done. I had to make sure all my dishes were clean and so forth and so on before I went. And sometimes that's hard to do, especially if my schedule prior to going to her is busy.
Yeah.
And so, and my laundry, I don't have a dryer, so it's weather dependent.
Yeah.
And so, that,
Mhm.
stupid little things like that make a difference in my life.
Oh no, I understand that. I understand it completely. Um, I think it was this week on Sunday nights. Usually we make our daughters pizza, with
Mhm,
cauliflower crust and
mhm.
everything. And I was tired on Sunday and frustrated about a couple of things, and I had been busy all day doing this and that and everything. And I'm like, wow, pizza looks so good. So I made myself a pizza, and I put sliced tomatoes on it instead of a sauce from a jar or something, because there's always
Mhm.
something in those things that sets me off.
Right.
Um, and then what did I put on that? Cheese. Oh, it was just cheese. I didn't have any kind of meat or anything to put on it, but it was
Mm.
so good. But I knew I shouldn't have eaten all of it because it was a lot of carbs. I think you're only supposed to eat half of that, for
Right.
carbs, but I ate the whole thing. Oh well.
Yeah.
It was so delicious because, when I get stressed or I've got so many things on my list of what I got to do today, that's when I'm more
Mm.
likely
Mhm.
to do a shortcut and
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, plus I make Symphony's anti-inflammatory food too.
Mhm,
And so I am still trying to figure out how I can do both of us at the same time. But because I use broth for the soup, she can't have the broth.
mhm,
So so I have to do it. So it's still in two separate things. So
mhm,
usually I end up making her stuff and then the next week I make mine or something.
mhm, mhm.
In
Well,
between time, I'm drinking protein drinks and eating yogurt. So
mhm. Yeah, we've taken our adult autistic daughter keto as well. And I have come up with some casserole dishes. And there's 6 different casseroles that are keto and are, what she can eat. Like, she can't eat tomatoes. I'm the only one in the family that eats tomatoes or tomato sauces. So I have to make what's called a no-mato sauce. Tonight I made spaghetti casserole without spaghetti. It only has cauliflower in it. For her, and it has the no-mato sauce in it, which is made of carrot and beets. And it ends up tasting like tomato sauce because you put spices in it. And
Right.
it looks like tomato sauce because between the carrots and the beets, it turns, everything red and stuff. So I know how it is. Right now, I'm in the middle of making these 6 casseroles. We make these casseroles for her lunches to take each day to the adult care center she goes to for activities during the day. And so when I'm in casserole mode, it's
Yeah.
every day I'm making casseroles, and I don't have a lot of time to do my meals. Like I haven't had a pork steak in probably 4 days, which is not good because it's my best source of potassium and the B vitamins. Although eggs have potassium and B vitamins, I really do need to make steak as well. But when I'm focusing on getting her things done, it's hard to
Yeah. Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Plus, I need to get a deep freezer too. I have no freezer space, so that's
Oh,
always a big challenge too.
yeah, that's tough
Especially if I
because
put symphonies in.
making these 6 casseroles over the space of a week means that for 6 weeks I don't have to worry about lunches for Sarah,
Right. Right.
and because we put them in the freezer and Scott puts them into groups, so that she gets a different casserole every day and then we start over,
Right.
and we don't repeat so she doesn't get tired of them. And
Right.
so, you just have to get in the groove.
Yeah.
I once heard about something called batch cooking. Have you heard of that, Tammy?
Well, there's a lot of people that do like the food prep on the weekends and then freeze it and stuff. And is that what you're talking about? Something like
Yeah,
that?
it's like that. I have a friend that she has a daughter that has a epilepsy seizure disorder, and they decided to go vegan to see if they could get her seizure disorder under control. So they started doing batch cooking every Sunday, and they basically spend the whole day Sunday soaking beans and cooking beans and cutting vegetables and sorting everything out and putting it into containers. And they spend Sunday morning deciding what they want to make that week to eat, and then they cut and cook and steam and boil and everything the rest of the day and put it all in containers and get it all in the fridge, and they have it all marked exactly what they want to do. And that's wonderful for them because it's just the 2 of them and they're doing the exact same diet. And my friend wanted to lose weight and she has lost weight. And she wanted to do this for her daughter with the epilepsy, and the 2 of them work together and everything. Scott helps with, making sure what I need for the next day is thawed out of the freezer or purchased from the store. Because like one casserole takes cottage cheese in it, and I don't have enough cottage cheese to make it tomorrow. So he bought me some today, and eggs and, all of that. So
Is it cottage cheese casserole that you're making? Is
yeah,
that keto?
I make it keto.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Send me your recipe if you would.
Okay, all right. I've worked it out, Melody, so that it's about 5 carbs a serving. And the
Ooh,
size of
sweet.
casserole I make has about 12 servings in it.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds
And
good.
it's a hit and a
Mhm.
big favorite at potlucks at
Yep.
church.
Yep.
And my nieces and nephews would, when they'd find out Aunt Beth and Uncle Scott were coming, they'd text me, "Are you bringing cheesy casserole?" Because that's what they call it, cheesy
Oh,
casserole. And so it's a favorite. And you can spice it the way you want to. You can make it
mhm,
more garlicky or more oniony or just salty or peppery,
right,
whatever way you want. It's kind of a blank slate. And I
yeah.
used to worry about the fat content until I learned about keto. And now I'm like, oh, and
Yeah, because it's all the good fats in it, right?
yeah. Mhm.
Because it's not Special K loaf, it's
No,
cottage cheese loaf. Yeah, okay.
yeah. And I used to make it with, like the spiral noodles. But
Mm,
now I make it with cauliflower florets.
mhm.
And what I do with
Have
the
you tried, go
pardon?
ahead, go ahead.
What I do with cauliflower florets is I cut them up so they're smaller, but they're not riced or anything. They're
Mm,
chunks. And I put them in the oven with, you can use either olive oil or butter and salt and pepper on them. And I roast them a little bit. They're thawed and I roast them a little bit. Then I put them in the casserole. I put a layer of the cauliflower, then a layer of the cottage cheese and egg mixture, then a layer of the cauliflower, and then a layer of the cottage cheese and egg mixture, and
mm,
then some cheese on top, and you just bake it.
mhm.
And number one, it's easy. Number
Yeah.
two, it's not wretchedly messy. And number three, everybody seems to like it. I've been to some funerals of people that don't go to my church that aren't vegetarian. Um,
Mhm,
and I've made a big thing of it, and they've been like, "Oh my goodness, this is so good."
mhm,
And there's ways to tweak it. Recently, I've been taking spinach and putting that in with it as well,
mhm, mhm.
um, to get some green in there. One Christmas, I chopped up red and green peppers and put them
Oh,
in the mixture to make it kind of
mhm.
festive, you
Yeah.
know. And you could put mushrooms in if you want,
Mhm,
um, or olives. You could put olives in.
mm,
Um, and so it's a very flexible base for
yeah.
a casserole. I've also done it with zucchini instead of spinach with it, which is
Mhm,
also very yummy.
mhm,
Um, when I've done zucchini casseroles before, I used to put, like corn chips on the top, but I
mm,
don't do that anymore.
but yeah.
Don't do
Mm,
that.
yeah.
So anyway.
So have you tried the miracle noodles?
I have not. I Here's my problem. I'm afraid if I find miracle noodles, I'm going to want to eat them all the time.
There, it's okay. You can. There's what, 2 carbs to the whole package, which is as 3 servings.
Mhm,
So even if you eat like sometimes I'll put the whole package in to make like 1 serving of soup.
mhm.
And it's like 2 carbs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's
Now the miracle noodles are made out of mushroom, right?
correct.
Do
Hmm.
they have a musty mushroom flavor?
Oh, they actually are, what is that? The Asian noodles that are very translucent. They're just very
Shirataki.
well,
Shir-
they're shirataki mushrooms. I think that's what they're made from. But there's also an Asian noodle. I don't know, maybe they're made out of shirataki mushrooms also. I don't know. But
I,
it's a translucent
Yeah, I
Um,
think in Japan, they call those konyaku. But
Is it a
that's
really thin
Japanese.
oh,
noodle?
big.
What'd you say, Scott?
Yeah, is it a really thin noodle?
Yeah,
It
Because yeah,
is.
there's a thin one, yeah, thin and really translucent. Yeah, and I
yeah,
think
I
the
think
Chinese
it's,
use that too.
I think
Yeah.
it's konyaku.
And, and
And
I take that back. I don't think it is shiitake. I think it's konjac mushrooms. The
yeah,
konjac mushrooms, I think, is what they're made from.
yeah.
I'd have to look it up again. But they're very tasteless by themselves, but they're supposed to absorb the whatever flavors you cook them with.
Mhm.
And I don't taste that in the noodles, but it gives me the satisfaction of eating my noodles and instead of pasta.
Mhm.
So I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
I order it by the case.
Um, you're going back to your live-in lady. Um, is she not safe with like a hot plate or something? Or is she not steady enough to cook for herself or?
Oh, she's totally dependent. So
Oh,
she's
okay.
unable to, yeah, she's unable to cook at all.
Because,
But
it would be lovely if she could have like a hot plate, to boil water,
they got one from a thrift garage sale or a thrift store or something,
Mhm.
and it ended up not working. But they just recently got a toaster oven, which was good because I made her a baked potato the other night.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, so she enjoyed that. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I guess that's another one of the things I could put on her Christmas list.
Yeah, I mean,
Hot plate.
as far as I remember, an electric hot plate is, 10, $15, new at Walmart.
Well,
Um,
and there's a lot of things that you can just do in the microwave. I mean, I can scramble her eggs in the microwave. Vegetables you can steam in the microwave.
mhm,
Um, it's just, it's just a matter of, figuring out what the menu is going to be, I guess.
mhm. Now,
She doesn't.
is she a vegetarian like you?
No, oh no, no.
No, okay,
No.
all right. Because, I mean, is she overweight, Melody?
No,
No, but she
nope.
is borderline diabetic.
She's borderline. Yeah, she's borderline. It depends on who you talk to, whether or not she's diabetic.
Oh, one of those kind of deals, huh?
I think that she has a diagnosis, but it's hard to tell because she's not on insulin or anything. She could be on an oral medication, but I'm not privy to the meds that she's on. So,
Okay.
um, it could be that she's on an oral med. I don't know.
Well, I still think it's good work that you've been able to teach her a few things here and there. And, with the thing that I'm thinking is for you, if she had a hot plate, it's actually healthier not to be microwaving everything.
Right,
know,
right.
and then you could boil eggs fresh,
Yeah,
and everything. But, I mean, you're not in charge of this woman, but
right.
she does have a little toaster oven now. And you can toast her keto bread for her. And she's using real butter, not margarine, right?
I take real butter and I use real butter for her.
Okay, good.
Yeah. They have I think they're not concerned about their diet that much, and so they buy whatever. But yeah, I take the real butter and I use that. I take cream, and we have well, she mostly has fruit and cream. I have blueberries and cream every once in a while during the summer with her. Again, see, I'm with her. I want to eat with her, and so I'm easy. She says, "Well, I think it's time for a snack. I say, "Okay, what would you like?" She says, "I think I'll have the chocolate peanut butter cup." I'm like, "Okay." She goes, "Well, you're going to have one too, right?" And I said, "Okay." I'm just way too easy that way.
Well, you know, a nice little dessert I found for myself is they have those Jello packets of sugar-free Jello powder, you know. I get a pint of the heavy whipping cream and pour it in a bowl, and then I get the smaller packet of the pudding mix, the sugar-free pudding mix, and pour that in. And then I just beat it, and it becomes a really thick mousse.
Mm.
Very tasty. They have butterscotch and banana and lemon and chocolate and vanilla and
Does it have
cheesecake.
gelatin?
Yeah, it's Jello.
Okay, so it has gelatin, so I can't have that.
No.
Oh.
It's Jello, not gelatin.
Yeah.
Jello
No, but
doesn't have
Jello contains gelatin.
It's the sugar-free pudding mix,
Yeah, it's the pudding mix.
Oh, pudding mix. Okay.
Yeah, it's a
the
pudding.
sugar-free.
Yeah, the sugar-free pudding mix. It doesn't, just a second, I think I have some here. I'll look on it. It's very tasty and it's very filling. Yeah, see, chocolate.
Oh, the Jello. Yeah. See, I
and-
think that contains gelatin.
Nope,
No? Okay. Well, then I'm going to look because that sounds good.
it's modified cornstarch, cocoa, maltodextrin, artificial flavors, 3 years monodiglyceride, xanthic gum, artificial color red, yellow, blue. Yeah, nope, no gelatin.
Okay. All right. Because it used to be that the Jello brand always had contained gelatin. So I don't know if it was different products or what, but I remember my mom saying no Jello brand because it had gelatin.
And so I get 6 servings out of this, and there's 7
Mhm.
grams. And I mean, if I'm craving chocolate,
Yeah.
you know, and it's a heavy, thick mousse. It's so
Mhm.
yummy.
Mm.
Do you put anything else in it besides the Jello mix? Just the whipping cream and that? I've made that before. I haven't done it in a while. I noticed I have. How much of the pudding mix do you use?
I use
One-
the packet in a pint of whipping cream,
A whole, okay.
and
Yeah,
then
I don't
that's
use
6
anything.
servings.
I know I have an open one there because I think I only use half of one. Half of the little packet. I know it's open with a little clip on it in their cupboard.
You know, I've thought about, you know, using the pint and using like half of the package instead to lower the
Mhm.
carbs. And
Well,
everything. And
but then it's gonna lower the servings too. You're only gonna make half as much. So, oh, Lord. So, I mean, that's not really gonna, I do it more because I'm the only one eating it, and it might take me a while to eat all that. If it's 6 servings and,
mhm,
you know, it's gonna last me more than a week, I don't really want to make that much.
yeah. The other thing I thought is if I used the vanilla pudding, I could use half of the pudding mix and put some vanilla extract in, and maybe that would give it enough flavor for the whole pint of whipping cream. And I would still be cutting the carbs. So anyway, it's.
But you have less
ideal.
than, you only have 1 carb in your serving size, so it's really not that much to have to cut
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
1 carb and your 6, I mean, you make 6 servings with 7 carbs.
yeah.
It's only 1 carb. You don't really need to
Yeah.
cut the carbs anymore.
Anyway, hey, you
Because
know.
you're in a carb cutting mood, so, you know,
Yeah.
but it's not that much.
Yeah. Anyway, wow. It's a little after 8. We should probably go. And it's so good to see you, hear you again, Melody. And good work passing the
Thanks.
word about keto on to people. And hope to see everybody next week, and hope to, you know, get some more people. You know, I just feel like maybe everybody's busy on Wednesday evenings. Tammy, did you contact Patricia this week?
I did not.
Yeah, I was thinking about contacting her, see how she was doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, thank you all for coming. I'm going to turn off the recording and we'll end